Today, the quest for the Southern Derby Cup continues as the Charleston Battery welcomes Charlotte Independence to MUSC Health Stadium for this afternoon's USL Championship match. Hey everyone, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. My name's Poppy Miller, alongside me Derek Broadley. And Derek, for Mike Anhauser, off to a flying start so far this season, undefeated. For Charlotte Independence, still looking for their first win of the season, and one of the players that will be looking to contribute to that this afternoon, it's the veteran Jorge Herrera.
Yeah, and Herrera's a traditional number 10 player who really likes to do all his work in and around the box. He can also score goals. I think they'll be looking for all his experience today to really get their season up and running. The
38-year-old Colombian scored in his 200th USL Championship match, and whether he starts or comes in as a substitute, he can change the game. Well, for Mike Anhauser, the one we want to watch, it's the newcomer, Zico Lewis.
Yeah, and Zico's also a traditional number 10 player, and he started off the season very well, although he can play in wide positions. He's carrying on his good form for Bermuda, his country, where they recently reached the Gold Cup, and I'm sure the home fans will really be looking forward to seeing him back on home soil today.
He really is off to a flying start. Here he is assisting Ian Swanterson last week against North Carolina FC, so we will keep our eye on him this afternoon. Well, I managed to catch up with head coach Mike Anhauser earlier this week to preview this afternoon's match.
Doesn't matter who's playing. They could have 20 new players and we could have 20 new players. It's going to be a battle. It's a cup game, which we talked about, and it's exciting, and it's always a challenge when you play Charlotte. Enzo obviously is a big piece to get him back, and he scored so many goals, but he's obviously has new players and he's getting used to those players. But we know, and we've seen it, that he can score goals in bunches, and if you leave him a chance, he's going to score it.
Welcome back to Charleston, South Carolina for this afternoon's USL Championship match. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley, and what a game we have on our hands this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for today's match, wherever you are. Well, there's the captains in the middle for the coin toss, but while we have a second, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. Well, for Charlotte Independence, Derek, we mentioned still looking for their first win, led by new Manager Jim McGuinness, what do you see there? Who's the ones to watch?
Well, yeah, we've got the Martinez brothers. They're going to be a big factor today. You know, they like playing together. And, you know, this system of 4-4, I think it's more of a 4-4-1-1 here. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they match up against Mike Anhauser's team, who've been doing basically a 4-4-2 as well. So very interesting tactically, but I'm sure there's going to be some great performances today. Another one to watch, obviously, is Brandon Miller, the goalkeeper, because he's obviously a very steady keeper, and all to play for today.
And obviously we're very surprised not to see Jorge Herrera on the bench or in the starting 11 tonight. Let's take a look at Mike Anhauser's starting 11. Kuzminski starts between the sticks. Svanteson up top. Who else should we watch for?
Yeah, well, Taylor Mueller's been really marshalling his back four, isn't he? They've gone from a 3 to a 4, and it's very important that him and Woodbine and Bolt and Patterson all get nice and tight together. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that all pans out. And then obviously Lewis, as we know, we spoke about him in the pre-game show. He's that traditional number 10 that's going to link the game up. So very interesting as we go forward.
There they are, both teams getting ready for this afternoon's match. Always a fantastic match with these two sides, these Carolina rivals. And of course, the Battery took on North Carolina FC last weekend, ended up taking a point from the match, but a very positive performance. No,
it was a great performance in there. They'd be very disappointed to concede a goal as late as they did in the 93rd minute, but they certainly were well worthy of a win on the road. So getting back to the Battery now, as I said, I think it's going to be this 4-4-2 shape with Swanson leading it up, Zico playing as the number 10. Jay Bolt, the two wing-backs like to really push high, and I think today could be one of them games where whichever two sets of full-backs can get further forward is going to have more of the attack in play.
Zico Lewis, the new signee for Mike Anhauser this year, picks up the ball, drops it on the centre spot, and it looks like we are about ready to go. The sun peeking through on this glorious 70-degree Sunday afternoon. These state rivals are underway from MUSC Health Stadium in their 14th all-time meeting. The Battery undefeated so far, out in their black and yellow historic stripes, and for Jim McGuinness' side in the away blues. The man in the middle for today's match, Matt Franz, assisted by Walter Heatherly, Benjamin Wooten, and today's fourth official is Islen Pek-Sanar. Lofty ball forward, looking for Svanteson in the attack. You've got to say, Svanteson coming on to some great form as of late.
Yeah, he's not just been scoring goals, but he's also been doing very, very well linking up the game. And, Woodbine, there's an example there of a good long throw. He's got a target to aim at.
Candela into the mix. Nicely out of the back, no worries for Hugh Roberts, who makes his third start tonight for the Independents. Archer opts to go wide, looking for Woodbine down the flank. Just a bit too much pace on that one.
And there's a great example straight off the bat. There's Woodbine, and if the Bolt was getting forward on the other side, so straight away it's Ken Gutman and Johnson. Can they actually stop them from getting forward? Can they actually try and get forward themselves and try and hold them back? So it's going to be very, very interesting today. You can see a very congested midfield. There's going to be 8 players in there all battling for, little tight spaces and so on. So, yeah, this is going to be a good one, I think.
We were speaking about it before kickoff. One of the most interesting things about this match, like you just touched on there, Derek, both outside backs like to get forward. Will this leave space in behind? Yeah,
it's certainly, the two centre backs on both sets of on both teams are going to have to really watch those little balls down the side. But just looking at the game, what a perfect day for soccer, isn't it? If you're a player now, the perfect conditions, great surface. It was watered just before the kickoff. This has got all the ingredients to be an absolute cracker.
Zico Lewis finds his way into the box, looking for a cross. Nobody home at the back post.
I think that was more of a shot there. I think he cut in. He was looking just to bend it into the far corner there. And this is where Zico Lewis is such a great player, isn't he? He finds little pieces of space in and around a box. He works very hard to get it. And when he gets it, he's very, very, very creative.
Coming in off a fantastic spell with the Bermudan international side, their first trip to the Gold Cup, coming up after he scored a goal and registered an assist on international break with them a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned it in the pre-game, but another one to keep your eye on tonight, Romario Pigott. They've been linking up very nicely in the attack.
Both new lads have come in, and they're both very, very creative, and they're going to definitely bring options to this team, and they're both technically sound.
Here's Jake Harmon. It's a good ball through to Aduro, who's found his way into the box. Mueller tracking back, stops Aduro in his tracks. Back to Martinez. Out wide, Joel Johnson joins in. Alex Martinez. Charlotte patient in the build-up. Martinez is in the box. It's a good lofty ball towards the back post. Jake Arman's at there. And finds its way to Gutman. And a great press from the Independents.
That was a good break by Duro, but you can see how quickly the Battery players got back into their shape, didn't they? Just to slow the attack up, and he ended up running out of options, I believe, there.
Brandon Miller comes to clear. Alex Martinez just dishing his direction to the goalkeeper.
And straight away we've seen two examples. We've seen Woodbine on the right-hand side and Johnson on their right-hand side. Both people putting in crosses already and running a couple of minutes into the game. So you can see both teams have set out their stall. They're both going to really try and play high and get up the field. So, you know, for this big crowd that's still coming in, it's going to be a really good attacking game, I think.
Here's Enzo Martinez back with Charlotte Independents after spending last year at Colorado Rapids. Just put wide of the post by Jake Arman from the top of the box. No worries for Joe Kuzminski. In goal tonight for Mike Anhauser.
But that was a worrying moment there, wasn't it? The way he got free there. You know, he did. He got right out into, he found a lot of space in there and had a good shot. It was unlucky. He just pulled it slightly, but very, very good strike.
Alex Martinez causing some problems for Jay Bolt down this flank. Back to Archer. The Trinidad and Tobago Youth International.
Kuzminski's in this new grey uniform, and it doesn't seem as bright as the ones we normally wear, and I wonder if that's going to have an impact. As I said, sometimes I think visual, having a big goalie in a big bright colour is always a big barrier, but this one here just looks a little bit neutral. I hope it won't be a factor.
A loose touch from Hugh Roberts in his first season with Charlotte. Comes from Pittsburgh Riverhounds, makes his third start tonight. Looking for the switch from Mario Pigo is there. And Miller opts to play out the back to Gutman. Gutman, another one on fantastic form.
There was another sign of the high pressure. That was Woodbine there chasing that down. You know, Piggott had gone in and shut the goalkeeper down, and look who's 50 yards up the field. That's O'Brien Woodbine.
Here's the Martinez brothers putting some pressure. Takes a deflection. Brandon Miller is ready for it. Brandon Miller with a wealth of experience, a 29-year-old Charlotte native. Once upon a time was the goalkeeper of the year for Bob Lilly's Rochester Rhinos in 2015 after earning 13 clean sheets in 24 games, similar to Joe Kuzminski last year, who had 12 clean sheets in his 24 appearances.
Just wondering if the wet surface is going to have a little impact on the game. You can see the ball zipping around the field. You know, the player's touch is really going to be seriously tested. I'm sure it's great for the fans because they'll see a real bright, fast, zipping game. But for these players, you just need to get their foot in.
Good ball to the feet of Arman. Looking to leave it back for Gutman. Candela's there. And Mike Anhauser's side work it out the back. Svanterson just loses the possession. It finds its way into the middle of the park.
That was a coming together of two big guys there, wasn't it? As I said, you know, he'd done really well in Swanson to just get his body in front. And, yeah, real good use of the size of his frame. And that's what he's been doing very well lately, isn't he? He's been getting in front, securing the ball and bringing other people into the game, which is a great feature for the Batteries team.
Fan shake. Wide to the Japanese veteran Kotaro Higashi. Well read by Kevon George, who returns to the side after being away on international duty with Trinidad and Tobago. Joel Johnson, another one that was on an international trip with Liberia 2 weeks ago. Svanterson with the press. George in the middle of the park. Martinez works it to Johnson. Here's Alex. Maduro works his way across the back line. A nice combination. Maduro trying to work his way into the box. And cool and composed by the centre-back, Archer. Hill regains the possession.
You have to say right now, the visitors have come in and they've had lots of good possession. They're happily stroking the ball around. You can see that Arman, Hill and George are all very comfortable on the ball. They're the ones that are going to really try and dictate the game. And right now, you know, you would say that they look like the home team at the moment.
It's a good start for the Independents, who so far this season have conceded very early in all 3 of their matches. In the first minute against Atlanta United 2, in the 5th minute against St. Louis, and the 12th minute against Indy 11. But very, very strong to finish the game. All 3 of their goals against Atlanta United 2 came in the final 15 minutes. Throughout the first 70 minutes of both matches, the Independents have been outscored 6-0 while outscoring their opponents 5-1 in the final 20 minutes. But a bright start for the visitors today.
No, unbelievable. As I said, that if you're reading those stats, I'm listening, I'm thinking this can't be the team that I'm watching today, because they look very assured. You know, they've got a good little game style going. That, you know, you can see they're trying to get it to their wide players. Their fullbacks are pushing up nice and high. You've got Johnson and Gutman both trying to get in. Arman and Martinez are staying nice and high as well. So, you know, very clear in what they're trying to do.
George in the middle works it back to his back line. Alex Martinez, can he find the space on the wing? He's got Johnson behind him. Oduro making the run. Leland Archer is going to have his hands full this afternoon with Dominic Oduro, who has 2 goals on the season already so far. The MLS veteran has had spells at Dallas, New York Red Bulls, Chicago Fire, Toronto and Montreal Impact. The Ghanaian international sit just in front of Enzo Martinez. Van Schaik with the press. Martinez finds a bit of space. Still looking through. Kuzminski scoops clear out of the back. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportsamerica.com. Here's Pigott. Into Lewis. Lewis to Bolt in acres of space. Bolt to the top of the box. Can he find the room for a strike? It takes a deflection. Quickly onto his feet. Mark Hill, the Scottish native on loan from Celtic, to help bring his side out of the back.
Yeah, and Bolt done it. It was a great run by Bolt, didn't he? You know, being a right-footed player playing at left back, he can cut in onto his stronger foot and get a good shot off on target.
Here's Oduro hassling the back line. Kuzminski forced to use his feet out of the back. Hill picks it out the air. Here's George. Arman out wide to Gutman. Alex Martinez looking for Oduro from that negative ball back. That's always a dangerous one. It
is, but you know, kudos there to Joe Kuzminski when he got a real bad pass just a minute ago and he dealt with it very well. He played it out very comfortable. You know, he's grown in confidence, isn't he, as the season's going on, with his feet and with his goal. We always knew he's been a great shot stopper, but he's really, really developed that part of his game with his feet now. So great to see. And for the young goalkeepers out there watching it, how important it is to really continue to do that footwork and the ball striking work that they do in all their, all their training sessions.
Kuzminski really came into his own last season, served as a backup goalkeeper to Cuban veteran Adisnal Cooper before earning his starting spot in early last season. Played over 2,100 minutes in the end, like we mentioned, 12 clean sheets in 24 games played. That's pretty good going.
Just looking right now at the battery, they've got a very, very good shape. The one thing they're missing is just someone that's going to find Zico Lewis in that number 10 position. You know, we've got Jared Van Schaik and you've got Candela, and as I said, they're just struggling to find that ball in. At the minute, they're having to go from back to front a little bit, and that's okay. I mean, because Swanson's a good target player, but they just need to find an alternative way. We saw a minute ago when Lewis got on the ball and he got it wide to Jay Bolt. You know, they just need someone to link up that game. That's where it's going to be important for Zico Lewis to really get involved in this game, certainly in the middle of the park.
Fantastic ball in from Woodbine to switch the flank. Here's Higashi with the press. George for Johnson. Back into the mix. Candela's there to force it back to the line. Svantersson with the pressure. Alex Martinez tracking deep back into the midfield. Out wide to Mond.
And up until that pass there, that was great play. You know, you have to say now, if you're the battery, that's great pressing. because they've won the ball back. You know, probably a few more passes than they probably wanted, but they've won the ball back all through their hard work. Jay Bolt was almost screening Martinez on his own 18-yard box. So you can see both teams have come out to try and press, which is great to see.
Here's Zico Lewis for Higashi, who has space in front of him. Can't connect the pass out to Piggott. And Martinez looking for the dummies for his brother. Just misread.
One to discuss over dinner, that one, won't it? You know, I thought you were there, I thought you were there. So there we go.
Fantastic duo for this side. I'm sure thrilled to be back together. Like we mentioned, Enzo Martinez spending last season away with Colorado Rapids. Prior to that, though, the Rock Hill native has been with the Independents since the beginning, really, these two brothers. Mond. Back to Brandon Miller. Enzo busy on the ball already tonight. That was a loose one from Bolt on Alex Martinez. Let's have another look at this, Derek.
Yeah, no, it's a real loose challenge, and I said I think the referee might, you know, he's certainly going to have a strong word, and I think that's it. This is the final warning. That, you know, that's this start of the game. I think if that was later on in the game, I think that could have been a yellow card. I like to see referees do that. They send a warning, they put a line in the sand for all the players, because it was a late challenge, wasn't it? You can see Bolt's really committed to going. It looked worse because of the reaction of the player, you know, absorbing the hit. But the one player that's really got to really try and stamp his authority of the game is Higashi for the batter, isn't he? You know, he normally is. Oh.
Here's Arman at the top of the box. Back to Enzo Martinez. Out wide to Alex. Joel Johnson by his side. The Spaniard into the box. Martinez still there. Runs into traffic of the black and yellow. And Lewis brought down. That'll be a free kick for the home side.
And that's the same challenge that Bolt's just done. The referee's evening it up now. There's one each. You know, he really was just beaten by skill, wasn't he? You can see here, look, great skill by Zico Lewis, and he's just been beat by skill. And then I think, as I said, the referee's looking at, you know, just trying to stamp his authority in the game. But going back, you know, Higashi's really got to get on the ball. He's a vital player for the battery when he's playing. He's playing slightly wider than he normally likes to. But he's got to get on the ball, and he's very talented at running at people. He's very confident running at people. Then he's just got to make sure that his final ball and his link-up play creates chances for other players.
Just down below, up off his bench, has just sat down. Head coach Jim McGuinness in his first year with the Independents. Mike Jeffries moving into a general managing position. McGuinness with a lot of experience. He's coached in Scotland, China most recently, and Germany. It's a very interesting resume with the Gaelic Football Championship. A lot of experience, unusual experience. It's a great ball through, looking for a Duro. Nicely read by Leland Archer, the College of Charleston product, but that's a loose ball to Kuzminski at the back, who's quick enough to react. Kevon George brings it down. Here's Enzo. Aduro on the run. It's a fantastic through ball. He's onside. And nicely saved by Joe Kuzminski there.
Yeah, he's faced at the full front of that, but he spread himself nice and wide, did he? Great goalkeeping there. For any young goalie watching now, look how we'll get a chance to see that again in a minute, how he stood up, made himself big, put his arms out, and how brave he was, because he took that ball square in the face there.
Enzo Martinez with 2 assists on the season so far. Absolutely perfectly weighted pass through.
Yeah, and that's the danger of your fullbacks going high. You leave little spaces in behind. And as I said, he got in behind, Aduro got in behind Jay Bolt there and was through on goal.
Keep your eye on that duo up top. It's been very, very good as of late. Kevon George, the Trinidad and Tobago international. Here's Martinez. Archer takes his space out the back, trying to find the feet of Zico Lewis. Piggott is there instead, and he's brought down by Enzo Martinez, and that is going to be mustard for Enzo Martinez.
And yeah, here we go. As I said, and I think it's a tackle from behind. He was beat for pace. It was a tackle that he didn't really have to go to. And I think what they're saying, that's no worse. The brothers are ganging up against Jay Bolt. They're saying that's no worse than your tackle. But I think it's because it's the second one straight after that he's given it. And as I said, we'll look at it again. It's a tackle from behind. Yeah, it's a lazy challenge. It's an early game challenge. But, you know, it's very hard to compare them, really.
Jose Martinez still having a word with the referee there. Alex putting in his 2 cents a minute ago. And here's Jared Van Schaik, who's over the dead ball. Let's see what he can create from this opportunity. Woodbine, acres of space out wide, but he'll go for Mueller. Captain Taylor Mueller started every match and played every minute so far. Heads on from Svanteson. Brandon Miller is there.
Going back to the free kicks there, you know, it also surprised me how players argue. I mean, that was certainly a yellow card, and when you start comparing it to other challenges, you know, you can't do that early on the game. I mean, there was 2 bad challenges, one on either team very quickly, and the referee had no doubt that he had to do something about it.
Alex Martinez down the flank. Joel Johnson coming in. Just misread Kevon George and Zico Lewis. Too much pressure from George.
And that's what I've been saying, that, you know, Zico Lewis has done that on the edge of his own box. Now he's done it in midfield. It's going to be vital for him to find those little pockets and go, because he is the one player on the Battery team that can link the game up. And you can see he's obviously been told from the bench, you've got to drop in a little bit deeper, get on it, and be as creative as you possibly can. And he's very, very good at it.
Scoreless as we approach the 20th minute mark here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for this afternoon's match, wherever you are. Fantastic to see some Independence fans in the stands. Saw them at the tailgate earlier with the regiment. Always nice when it's a travelable road trip. Zico Lewis out wide for Piggott. Piggott looking to come into the box. Overlapping run from Woodbine there. The options are limited. It finds Svanteson. 1-0 Charleston Battery.
And if we go back in the build-up of that goal there, that's what we talk about. Zico Lewis getting on the ball, finding Piggott. Piggott's drove in. Great run by a Brian Woodbine, wasn't it, to take away the defenders, so that allowed Piggott to come back in. Here it is, look. He cuts back in. Watch the run of a Brian Woodbine on the outside. Look, he takes a defender with him, allows him to cut back in. And great determination by Swanson, wanted just to stay on track and finish it off. And another very well-deserved goal. 3 goals in 3 games for Ian Svanteson, the 6'6" striker.
And here we go. The Charleston Battery leading the Independents 1-0 from MUSC Health Stadium. And let's see if Charlotte can find the response now.
And they'll feel hard done by, because they've really started off this game well, haven't they? They've really done well, and as I said, it's slightly against the run of play.
Direct ball for Aduro at the other end. This time Leland Archer is there.
And that miss by Aduro, or that great save by Joe Kosminski, it just shows you that goals change games, but saves change games as well. And as I said, you know, that makes that save even more significant.
The opposite end of the park now, Mark Hill, like we mentioned, on loan from Celtic. The Scottish native, ready to whip one in from this near side. It's going to be an outswinger. Joel Johnson, the last man defending, away from the near post by Woodbine.
If there's any young players watching out there, that unselfish run by Woodbine was brilliant. And as I said, he just took a defender away. He ran about 60 yards, didn't even touch the ball, but was a big factor in the goal.
Johnson for Martinez. Candela there to help Bolt. Svanteson dropping back deep into the midfield. Spaniard Joel Johnson thinking it would be a throw for the Blues. And here's Bolt.
And you can normally tell by the reaction of the players, you know, Swanson was adamant that was his great flick on again. There's Lewis.
Here's Zico Lewis. Pig on the other flank, not too many numbers up with him. Smart play. It's a Japanese veteran, Kotaro Higashi, is going to wait for Bolt to make his way up. Jay Bolt in his 2nd season with the Battery, played with a spell at Jacksonville Armada prior to joining Mike Hanhauser's side. A bit of A loose ball across. Mueller to the rescue. Now the Battery really will try to draw Charlotte out.
That's good play by Candela there. He just sat in midfield, didn't he? Just as a rebound player, he saw the danger. He saw they were trying to press Eileen. He just bounced it off, just relieving pressure. Good play by Candela.
Johnson wins the aerial. Hill in the middle. Martinez looking for the second ball. Here's George. Roberts forced up into the mix out of the back line. And Gashi takes his space. Gets the 1-2 from Johnson. Creeps all the way through. Piggott is there, but safety first from Gutman. This might bring up a chance for O'Brien Woodbine. We know, Derek, how long the Jamaican veteran's throw is. See if he can drop one into the box. Yeah,
it's like a corner. And I think sometimes with a throw, it's more pinpoint than a cross because you can throw it. So here we go.
Woodbine, great ball in. Nice acrobatics from Gutman out. Candela to recycle. To the feet of Lewis, just wide of the target.
I think it was George there. That's a great. Was it George there who just threw his body in there? That might have been. Yeah, it could have been George or Mond. But anyway, it was great. You know, Zika Lewis done a great little turn. It broke to him. He had a shot, and you know the pressure that was put on him. I think it was Mond that put the pressure on him, and he just couldn't get his shot away. As I was saying, sometimes you can get more accuracy with a throw in than you can with a corner, and that's where O'Brien Woodbine's throw comes in really handy.
Here's Alex Martinez, Van Schaik. Martinez down to ground. This is going to be a free kick for the Blues. Enzo and Hill are over the dead ball. Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, again, he's been beat, just trying to turn, and that's a sore one, right in the back of the heels.
Mark Hill will line up over the dead ball again. He spent 5 years in the Celtic Youth Academy before eventually signing a 3-year deal with the first team in 2017, like we mentioned, on loan. He's looking to come in here, work hard, play well, and get his chance back in Celtic. The two-man line, the two-man wall, Higashi and Lewis. The Battery not taking any chances. Everybody back to help defend. Here comes the delivery towards the back post. Archer's away.
That ball came in too steep. You know, those balls got to be whipped in. So it goes, it was too high. And, you know, Archer's a big, strong lad.
Here's the re-delivery. This time Kuzminski's home. And he'll give his team time to get out of the back. Straight down the middle, it's Van Schaik. Out wide to Woodbine. Bolt makes his way into the attack. Martinez there with the press, nicely combined with Higashi. And just taken down by Mark Hill. And there we go, that's going to be a yellow card for Mark Hill.
And I'm going to say we had the best angle of that for anyone here. Look, Jay Bolt, look, he's going down. As soon as he goes round him, he's going down. I mean, it is a foul, there's no doubt. But Bolt's made completely everything out of that. And Hill's now picked up a yellow card now. If I hit the type of player he is, he's going to have to be careful now for the next sort of 60 minutes.
Captain Enzo Martinez there. And it's going to be Zico Lewis and Candela over the dead ball. Taylor Mueller, Leland Archer and Smonterson are in the box. Some fantastic height up top. And of course the short option for Higashi.
This should be Candela whipping it into the box. I'll be very surprised if it's Lewis.
Here's Candela, a good ball in. Mueller's running towards the back post, but Brandon Miller reads it well, and no damage done for the visitors.
Yeah, that was definitely a right footer one. Just put a bit too much on it, and you know, made it very hard for the defenders and the attackers to get on the end of that ball. And Miller's, you know, just swept up nice and easy.
Swanson pressing high. Charlotte opts to work it out the back.
And again, that's great pressure by the batter, isn't it? You know, whenever you win the ball, whether it's a throw-in or you get good possession, you press high and you work hard and you get the ball back. You know, if you coach Mike Anhauser, you're thinking that's great play by your players, and you know, for all that hard work and endeavour.
Here's another long ball from Woodbine. Drops it right into the box, picked out the sky by Hugh Roberts. And re-delivered again by Woodbine. This time collision of the Blues. Maduro out wide for Martinez, the battery tracking back. Switch of the flank looking for Enzo. One-on-one with Mueller. And great work from the captain, Taylor Mueller. Really shows his experience there.
Yeah. I mean, we said you know, he's getting that age now where pace is going to start to lead him a little bit, but you know, you can't beat that experience that he has.
Mueller again with a phenomenal challenge.
Yeah, and there he goes again. You know, again, he's gone in there. He's made sure that not only he won the tackle, but he's won the tackle and made sure that he hit the other player as well.
Higashi takes a touch inside. Lewis with traffic in the middle finds the feet of Candela.
Here comes J Bolt creeping up on this side if they can get it round quick enough. Just need to swing it round nice and quickly. There we go. It's great to see both fullbacks in the opposition half. And there's Candela just dropping into midfield, just making sure that he's available should it break down.
Zico Lewis going for the second ball. Svanterson's there. If you're just joining us, Ian Svanterson, the difference. 3 goals in 3 games now for the striker. Here's Woodbine working with Piggott. It's a good ball to the byline. Looked like that was almost in, Derek, from our angle. But just wide of the target from Svanterson. It
was a great ball in. I just think he should have cut it back. If you look here, you know, that's the harder one. I mean, it's unlucky. I mean, great run by Swanson, but it's difficult then to turn it back in behind you. I think I'm one of these people that I think if you can get to the byline, you can cut it back. It's easy. It's easy for players running onto it rather than trying to direct him. But another great run, great bit of play by the battery.
Good ball in from Piggott. So difficult to defend those negative balls. Here's Aduro. Back to Arman. Gutman gets in the attack. Gutman to Aduro, who can't keep control of it. Mueller to safety. And Svanterson hold it up. Mond wins the aerial.
That's good play there, wasn't it, by the battery? Oh. And that's, you know, to be fair to Jay Bolt, that's, you know, he's a right-footed player playing at left back. That's always going to be the case every now and again, that you just can't swing it down the line, especially under pressure. He's normally very reliable, but in that case, he just sliced it out.
Here's Hugh Roberts. Been a consistent starter with all the past teams he's been with. Started 21 of the 27 games he appeared in for Pittsburgh last season. The season prior with Bethlehem Steel, and before that with Richmond. Here's Alex Martinez. He's got Enzo with him. He takes a deflection. That'll be a throw for Charlotte. Quickly taken. For Johnson to Hill at the top of the box. Tries to get the strike away. A great block by Van Schaik. Recycle to the far side. Here's Arman. Looking to whip one into the box, but will go back to Andrew Gutman. Yvonne George in the middle of the park. Joel Johnson back to help out. Enzo. Combines with Alex. Keeps it in. Kosminski denies at the front post. That'll be a corner for the Independents.
And again, there, the Martinez brothers working together. Again, he's got to cut that back from the edge of the box. I mean, a good goalkeeper like Joe Kaminsky is not going to give up his near post willy-nilly, and that really does need to get cut back and have players coming onto it. They've got their corner.
Here's Mark Hill with another delivery. This time it's a good ball in. Lewis stops it from finding its way back to the sender.
That's a great clearance, isn't it? You know, if in doubt, get it out. That's exactly what he did. Gives his team time to regroup and squeeze up the field.
Fans, you can follow the Charleston Battery and the rest of the USL Championship all season on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS and many, many more. Join over the 2 million sports fans who have already done so and discovered ESPN Plus. You can watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com.
The Battery have done a great job of, when they have one possession, they haven't forced the game, have they? You know, they've used their back players. They've passed it from side to side. They're making the Charlotte Independence team really work hard across the field. And commentators curse, they just give away a little sloppy one, but they've done a really good job in, you know, being very patient with the ball. But they've won it back again here.
Here's Pigott back to Van Schaik. Woodbine has space on the far side as he cuts inside. Almonds there with the pressure. Candela now. Charlotte really forcing the Battery back. Good defensive work from the visitors. Svanterson picks up the loose ball. Finds Zico Lewis. Kotaro Higashi coming in to join. Pigott invites Woodbine in. There's the delivery. A diving header away from Mond.
Yeah. Woodbine's got to do a better job there. It's a great run again. I mean, he's made some unbelievable runs this afternoon, but his delivery there, and normally his delivery is spot on, but that one there, you've got to miss the first defender out, but it gives him a chance to try his long pinpoint throw again.
This time he'll go short to Van Schaik. Gets the ball back, just slightly miskick that. Like we mentioned, very slick surface out here this afternoon. We had a morning of rain in Charleston, and now glorious footballing weather, 72 degrees here on Daniel Island.
A bit of a loose touch there by Swanson there, which is unusual because his touch has got much, much better. It just caused him a little bit of a problem there, but Lewis is in there, good pressure.
Trevor Johnson lets that one run out of bounds. Quickly gets it back in. Roberts across to Mond. Mond started every minute of every match, played every minute, should I say, of every match so far. Signed earlier this year, comes from Vancouver Whitecaps. Before that was with Real Salt Lake and their affiliate in the USL, the Real Monarchs. Very successful collegiate career at Notre Dame. Hill drops to the back line, looking for the direct ball forward, redirected by Mueller. Kuzminski will take his time with that. Just under 10 minutes left to go before half-time here at MUSC Health Stadium. Derek, your thoughts so far?
No, I think the goal really came against the run of play. I mean, I thought certainly the Independents started the stronger, but the Battery have slowly played their way back in. The goals definitely changed the tempo of the game. The Battery now have done very well of pressing high when they need to and being very patient. Here's Zico Lewis.
Ball by Zico Lewis, who finds space for himself, and a fantastic save at the back by Miller. The danger isn't over. It's Higashi trying to work his way into the box. Candela. The pressure is on, and the referee is going to give the free kick just outside the box. You can see the frustration from Zico Lewis. I tell you what, Derek, that was very, very close.
Yeah, but I think the referee was close enough to get it. We'll see now. I think he's spot on here. Yeah, that foul's just outside. Just outside. You've got to give it to him. That's a great decision.
Now this does bring up fantastic range for either Candela or Lewis. The centre-backs join Svanterson in the attack. Woodbine and Bolt, the two men left behind.
Again, I think this sets up much better for a right footer. Unless the wall's not in the great place and Zico Lewis can just bend that round the wall, but you see they're edging over, so I think this is going to be Candela whipping it in with a bit of pace and hoping someone just gets on the end of it.
Here comes the delivery, it's from Candela. It's chaos in the box, Svanterson's there. Mueller this time trying to get the strike away. And Aduro trying to get a touch to safety.
Great covering there by Zico Lewis again, wasn't it? You know, he's done very well. You know, he read the danger there. He came round, swept up for his team. He knew his centre backs were up there, and he just put it out of play. Very sensible play there. Martinez
trying to find the path of Dominic Aduro, the lone striker. 2 goals so far in the 3 games he's appeared in.
We're going back to sort of my summary. As I said, I think that the Battery have clawed their way back in. You know, they've done a good job of dictating the tempo of the game, and you know, they've made it harder for the Charlotte Independents to sort of come into the game. And you know, they're really working hard there now, trying to stay on the ball. Yeah, good refereeing. Good refereeing, wasn't it?
Brings it back for the shirt pull on Svanterson. Van Schaik in no rush to get us back underway as we approach 5 minutes left to go in the first half.
Good little spell of play there by the Battery. You know, again, here we go again. Look, you know, they're not forcing the play. They're taking their time. And all the time they're doing this, they're making the Independence players run from side to side. Van Schaik's got in there as that little pivot player in midfield. So it's basically a 3 versus 2. And with Joe Kosminski, it makes it 4v2. That's a little bit disappointing. They've done that a couple of times where they've gone long and straight. As I said, if they can get that into a Zico Lewis or a Higashi, then I think they've got a chance to really like get at this Independence back 4.
Arguing that came off Alex Martinez. Goes in favour of the visitors. Enzo and Alex battling together on this near side. Archer switches the park. Here's Woodbine. Piggott lost in possession. Aduro to the top of the box. He takes the strike over the top of the bar. No worries for the Battery.
Yeah, I think Piggott there will get a little reminder. There he goes. Mueller's straight onto him straight away there. You know, there's times when to dribble and times when to just let it go, and he should have just zipped that off there because he nearly caused himself and the team a problem just by playing a little silly square ball or trying to run backwards towards his own goal.
And on the other hand, the captain for the Independents, Enzo Martinez, giving a round of applause to his teammates there, wanting them to keep the tempo high. Shows you can't give Dominic Aduro an inch, especially at the top of the box. No damage done for Mike Anhauser's side. Van Schaik does well to keep the possession out wide to Woodbine. Piggott into the attack. It's a good ball. And Gutman forced with the head back for Miller.
That was great play by Gutman there, wasn't it? You know, he realised he was beaten for pace and he just realised, no, I'm just going to get my head on the ball and play it back to the goalkeeper. And he got enough on it, so great piece of defending.
Svanterson there, keeping the pressure on. Candela out of the sky. Lewis. Nicely returned by Mueller. Kevon George is there. Very back and forth in the middle of the park. Nice footwork from the Bermudan. Here's Vincenzo Candela looking to try and track into the box. Fantastic defending by Mark Hill.
Yeah, that was great tracking there, wasn't it, by Hill? He didn't really good footwork here as well by Arman, I think.
Arman still on the run. He's got Aduro with him. Can he find the through ball? Yes, he can. He's going to be offside, though. What a ball through that was. Dominic Aduro was on his way, but it will be offside.
I think the referee there, Taylor Mueller, was definitely beat by pace. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can just see straight away, you know, the lines on the field help us. poor finish as well, but, you know, great run in there. But another worrying sign for the Battery there. With the Duro's pace, they've definitely got to make sure that they don't keep such a high line and leave a big space in between the two centre-backs and the goalkeeper.
One of the new signees this season, Dominic Aduro from San Jose Earthquakes. A wealth of MLS experience, though, like we mentioned. Joel Johnson with a flying tackle on Higashi. Martinez into Hill. Independence looking to get on the front foot. Just under 2 minutes left to play of regulation before half-time here in Charleston, South Carolina. Roberts. Back to Mond. Aduro dropping deep in midfield. Shows the Battery are doing a nice job defensively when you see Aduro coming in that deep.
Cannon Gutman's gone high again. Here's another example of the fullbacks getting high now.
Alex Martinez been all over the park so far this match. Here's Enzo for Joel Johnson. Finds the 1-2, gets the ball into the box. Leland Archer at the front post.
You can hear Mike Anhauser telling his team to get up. Look, it's very deep.
Here's Enzo. Not many options on. Goes to the top. Alex all the way over at this side now. Just working his lines. Hill for Martinez. Gets it back from Aduro. Chip ball towards the back post and nicely played by Romario Piggott, who finds the hands of Kuzminski.
I think Martinez has got to look for a shot. He's on the edge of the box. He's got good, you know, he had a good sight and he ended up trying to chip it to the far post. You know, I'm sure that, you know, the head coach will be going, well, you know, we really want a shot from goal from the edge of the 18-yard box. They haven't really tested Joe Kuzminski, have they, too much in this first half, other than the one great save he had from Martinez.
There we go, confirmation. 2 minutes of added on time here in the first half. Here's Higashi. The referee just bringing back the play.
Yeah, I think what the players are complaining about there, you know, yeah, they'll say it's offside, but they'd won the ball and got in a really good position. And that's what Mike Anhauser's saying there now, like, you know, we had the possession, you played the advantage, you didn't have to stop it. I think I put that one down to the linesman there. He really doesn't have to keep his flag up once the game's gone on. Great play again here by Van Schaik.
Van Schaik joining the attack. To the top of the box, Zico Lewis is there. Hill finds the feet of Martinez. Martinez to his brother. Independence looking to break into the attack. Here's Joel Johnson. Can't find the feet of Alex. And that's going to be all we see from the first half here at MUSC Health Stadium in Charleston, South Carolina. Derek, your thoughts?
No, I think, as I said, I think the goal came against the run of play early, as I said earlier, and from then the Battery looked like taking good full control. I mean, Aduro's definitely a threat. He can get in behind. His finishing hasn't really been great so far, but apart from the one he came in with Joe Kuzminski, but I think it's going to be an exciting second half and all to play for.
The Battery players making their way off the pitch. Enzo Martinez, the last one to come off for the Independents. Stay with us at halftime. We'll take a look at the Battery's next upcoming matches and a look around the USL. We'll be right back after this.
if there's one thing with USL Championship clubs, is that they have a way to make the experience unique to their clubs. I'm on site here at BBVA Compass Field in Birmingham to talk a little bit about this iron factory they have on site. I'm joined by Marshall, the director of metal arts at Sloss Furnaces. So, Marshall, first off, tell us what an ingot is.
Okay, so an ingot is basically just a unit of iron.
Okay.
So it's just a way to make the iron portable and mobile and in a manner that can be sold.
Okay.
So the process that we're going to be doing in-game is a little bit different than the casting process. This is a forge setup. So typically used for blacksmithing. You're typically not trying to completely melt what you're working with. You're just raising the temperature enough that it can be malleable.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing throughout the game is taking one of these in our forge and getting it up to temperature red hot and having that on standby so that when we score a goal, we'll take it out of the forge, over to the ingot, and we have a special die with a spark on it off of the Legion logo.
Right.
And that'll be placed on it and struck with a hammer. It's a two-man operation. When we're ready, the assistant will take that. They'll take the die and put it in place, and then the other person will strike it with a hammer. So each goal that's scored will get a mark, hopefully a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so we have one for each game.
Okay.
So to have the team that they're playing, and so throughout the season, throughout the years, we'll begin to accumulate these and create an iron wall back here with each ingot from the games.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
How cool is that for people to come in too and kind of see this little, you know, characteristic of Birmingham?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hammer down! You know, they can tell how hot the steel is by the color.
Got it.
Burning up, red hot.
The Battery took a point from North Carolina FC on Saturday in the first match of the Southern Derby Cup. They remain undefeated as they get set to take on Charlotte Independence at MUSC Health Stadium this Sunday. For the Charleston Battery, I'm Poppy Miller. Let's take a look around the league presented by Home Telecom. St. Louis FC remains at the top of the Eastern Conference after taking 10 points from their last 4 matches. They took all 3 points from Charlotte Independence on Saturday. Camden Feo found Kyle Gregg in the box, who slotted it home in the 5th minute. Despite both teams having several chances throughout the match, it would be Gregg's goal that separated the two sides at the final whistle. It was goals galore on Friday night at MSU Soccer Park in the first meeting between New York Red Bulls 2 and Memphis 901. Adam Najim opened the scoring for the visitors in the 11th minute, but Jared Stroud found the response just minutes later to equalise. Tom Barlow notched his 3rd goal of the season just before half-time, and Derek Etienne slotted one home in the 56th minute to reopen the scoring in the second half. This time it was Birch who had the response just 5 minutes later. But that wasn't all the action that we saw in the match. Tom Barlow earned a penalty in the final minute of added-on time, but was denied by Caldwell. Well, that just about wraps things up around the East. For the Charleston Battery, I'm Poppy Miller. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's half-time here between the Charleston Battery and Charlotte Independence. But while we have a second, let's take a look at the next Battery game. They will hit the road to take on Bethlehem Steel at 7 p.m. next Saturday, led by Brendan Burke, someone you know well, Derek.
Yeah, Brendan I worked with very closely at Reading before he sort of went off for his different pathway through to the professional ranks. And he's got a great job there working underneath the Philadelphia Union. They produce great players. It's very difficult for him because he's got to really play around with his lineup every week, but they always turn out good, strong sides. And a lot of these players are aspiring to get into the Philadelphia Union team. So I'm sure it's going to be a big test for Mike Anhauser and his team on the road.
And then the Battery will return home to take on Nashville SC. For them, of course, their last season in the USL Championship before turning MLS. It's going to be a big year for them.
Yeah, I actually believe this was one of the best games here last year at the MUSC Health Stadium when they played Nashville. 2 great teams, 2 very good defensive teams, and I thought it was an outstanding soccer game. I think obviously Nashville have that target on their back because they're going MLS, and I'm sure that along with all the festivities that are going to go on that night, this is going to be a great game and a great event.
It's always a fantastic matchup when the Holy City meets the Music City, and as you can see there, it'll be 90s night and fireworks. It's going to be a fantastic night here.
Yeah, I'm sure every young player is going to come in and see and watch good fireworks, good entertainment, and be entertained by the parents dressed up in their 90s gear.
Stay tuned on the social media channels of the Charleston Battery. There'll be some 90s fun coming your way this week. Well, then let's turn our attentions to some news around the USL, because some exciting things have been happening and USL League One is now underway.
Yeah, I think League One now is just an extension of all the good things USL is doing right now. You know, we recently had the announcement of the academy structure and now League One, and you know, adding all these tiers into what is already a solid structure just shows you how much the game is growing in America. And I think this is just another great add-on to what's going to be an absolutely fantastic structure in the next couple of years.
And of course, that's fantastic for the youth here as well at the Charleston Battery.
Yeah, because now that creates more clubs around the area that we can go and play local games in, because they're all being told to go and use their youth programs and develop youth programs. So a great opportunity for young players around America.
Very, very exciting time indeed. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have second half action from MUSC Health Stadium. It's up next.
What does it take to be a champion? Skill, strength, vision, an unrelenting desire to prove your worth week in, week out. An army of fans behind you screaming your name. And sometimes just a bit of luck. For 631 games over the course of the next 9 months, 22 players will step on the field to answer the question, why will it be you and not them? And the 36 teams, from the champions of yesterday to the challengers of tomorrow, only one will be right.
To soccer fans across the United States, we want to say thank you for helping to create the most impressive, well-attended USL opening weekend in our history. With your support, we welcomed record crowds of over 91,000 fans to USL stadiums last weekend, and with over 3 million expected by the end of this season. This is a special moment, and if you're new to the USL, you're joining us at the most exciting time in league history. With more clubs and more games than ever before, the USL Championship is establishing itself as one of the premier second divisions in professional soccer around the world. In 2019 alone, we've welcomed to the USL family 7 new expansion teams in New Mexico, El Paso, Austin, Memphis, Birmingham, Hartford and Loudoun. That's 7 new communities.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium here in Charleston, South Carolina. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. It's half-time, but while we have a second, let's take a look at some first-half highlights. Ian Svanterson was the difference, Derek, but both teams have had chances. Yeah,
it starts off here with a Duro great run and a fantastic save by Joe Kuzminski, and really that was how the game started, but then this was the big changing point in the game. Great run by Brian Woodbine. Piggott cuts back inside and Swanson just sticks to his task and gets a great goal, which was the difference. It was his second chance where he gets across the near post and nearly scores, and then there's this free kick that created a little bit of a melee for everybody. It was Candela who did it, and it caused a few problems in there, lots of bodies being thrown around. But the real secret of the first half was that Charlotte really started off well. The Battery got their goal, it settled them down, they started to play. And I think the second half, you know, it would be interesting to see how the game starts off, whether the Battery are going to come out and continue their momentum of going attacking them, or whether Charlotte Independents are going to say, you know what, now we're going to really go for it. Like you mentioned, a good start for the Independents, especially after what we spoke about in the first half of them conceding early on in the matches for their past 3 games. So like we said, a team that finishes very strong, so all to play for here in the second half. And there is the boys in black and yellow for Mike Anhauser. No changes at the half. The fans out in full force below us, just out of your camera shot, but a fantastic afternoon, 72 degrees here in South Carolina. No, it's a great atmosphere, and I think, you know, Jim McGuinness has probably held them in for a little bit more. I'm sure he's not overly happy with what he saw there the first half. I said I think he's really pleased with the start, and I'm sure, looking at their results before, that they haven't started particularly well, but now they did start well. They did concede a little bit later in the game, and he's probably kept them in, and they've all coming out together now. I'm sure they've had a good telling of what's expected of them for the second half. And as I said, for them, it's all to play for. We know they finished strongly, and the Battery themselves, though, you know, they're very good at seeing games out as well. So, as I said, if you're a neutral fan watching today, you're going to see a great game. If you're a Battery fan, you've got something to hold on to. If you're an Independents fan, you want to see what your team's got. Can they come out and take the game to their away team? The Battery undefeated so far this season. The Independents, on the other hand, still looking for their first win of the season. Nice to see some travelling fans in the stadium around us for this Carolina rivalry. And we should mention the Carolina Derby, the Southern Derby Cup, we should say, who the Charleston Battery played the first match of last week against North Carolina FC. Always fantastic as well when there's an extra cup on the line. Yeah, it is, yeah, and you know, that's great for the spectators, and everyone wants bragging rights in their own state and in the South area and the region. So, you know, it adds a little bit, another dimension to the game, and, you know, I'm sure the players, it's not the forefront of their mind now, but, you know, as the season goes on and there's a chance to get another extra bit of silverware, they'll be looking forward to bring that to their fans. So it looks like we're ready to go for the second half. Enzo Martinez, the one over the ball to get us underway, had a very positive first half, but is on a yellow card, so he's going to have to be careful, along with Mark Hill, who is also on a yellow. Underway for the second half. Brian Woodbine stops them in the tracks early. Duro is there. High pressure from the Independents straight off the bat. Gutman trying to get his team underway quickly. Just brought back a couple of yards. Mond at the back alongside Hugh Roberts. Joel Johnson now on the far side, the Spaniard. Looking for the direct ball into the attack for Aduro. Just runs out of grass. Yeah, both teams have tried to exploit that space in behind the 2 fullbacks, haven't they? For, you know, Brian Woodbine's been I can't even get his name right. Woodbine's been trying to exploit that as well as Jay Bolt. And as I said, I think that's the space that both teams are really going to look to exploit in the second half. Had some rain here in Charleston this morning. A very slick surface out there this afternoon. And we've seen that play a role in the first half. The ball zipping around nicely. Mueller looking for the target man up top, Svanterson. It's Zico Lewis. He's got space in front of him. Bolt joining in the attack late. Jay Bolt back into the mix. And Joel Johnson to safety with Martinez. Yeah, and that was a bit disappointing by Bolt, because it was great play by Lewis, wasn't it? He spun brilliantly, drove wide. I think he was in the heart of his mind was looking for a shot, but he played Bolt in, and Bolt's just made the wrong decision there. He's played the wrong pass, and again, You know, the downside to Jay Bolt playing at left back is that, you know, when it's naturally on his left side, he struggles just a little bit to do that, you know, being a naturally right-footed player.
Yvonne George, the Trinidad and Tobago international, in the middle of the park this afternoon. Gutman, the pressure is there from Woodbine. And that was too much, says the referee.
And I'm sure Martinez is going to come over and tell the ref about the tackle that happened in the second minute. Here he goes again.
Martinez has to be careful. He is on a yellow card already in this match. Let's have another look at this.
I mean, again, it's a foul. You know, it is a foul. It's just a little late foul, but it's not malicious. It's, you know, it's just a mistimed tackle. And as I said, I think sometimes players, especially like Martinez, have to be careful because they don't want referees giving that yellow card, especially the way he plays. You know, he's more likely to come off worse than most.
There's the Scotsman, Mark Hill, on loan from Celtic in the middle. Gutman's there, battling with Woodbine. The referee is bringing it back for the collision with Martinez and Candela.
Yeah, and I think it's more how he landed. I think he landed on the back of his head and the top of his shoulders, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to see that again, but that's what it was. It was just a coming together of two players. The ball leaked up in there. Here we go now. Look, I think it's more how he just got caught on the back of the head there. And the referee done very well to stop that very quickly. And the player has to leave the field now with their protocols now. As I said, he'll be fit and raring to go.
It's Bobby Weisenberger with MUSC Health, always taking fantastic care of the players. Mike Anhauser and Dusty Hudak sat down below. Mike Anhauser in his 26th season with the Charleston Battery. Over 200 career wins, has made the playoffs every year he's been in charge of the club. 2 USL Championship titles in 13 seasons. He really is Mr. Charleston Battery. Here comes Bolt down the flank. He's got Higashi with him. The Japanese veteran dispossessed just at the back line by Roberts. Aduro. Well won by Archer. And Archer, we've mentioned, he's had his hands full all afternoon, but done very, very well, keeping Dominic Aduro at bay.
No, he's having a great game up until now, and you know, we just hope we don't give him that commentator's curse, but he's been very, very solid today. He's shown some great, excellent defending, but even more great technique, and he's very composed now. He's getting a steady run of games, isn't he? And he fancies himself as first choice now, and it's amazing what confidence can do to a player, especially a young player coming into this league.
In his second season with the Charleston Battery, joined midway through last season after attending the College of Charleston. He was the team captain, like we mentioned, Trinidad and Tobago Youth International. Pigott, out wide to Svanterson. Smart play by Svanterson, who will take the throw. I know Woodbine has got a lofty, long throw on him. Let's see if he utilises it this time.
And sometimes when you have a long throw, what you do is people drop off a great deal, and you can throw a little short one in just like they did there. So it's great, you know, you have two options. You have your long throw, and if people do drop off, you can then just dink one in there.
Candela for Svanterson, gets ahead on it, can't redirect it. And Svanterson, the difference so far, 3 goals in the past 3 games for him.
He's in a rich vein of form right now, isn't he? But, you know, to be fair to him, I think, you know, strikers are judged by goals, but his performances have grown as well. He hasn't just been a goal scorer. You know, he's led the line. I think the system helps him more than it did last year. You know, that he's got, you know, they're playing more of a 4-4-1-1, and he is the pinnacle, and he is the target player. And he, you know, he's been bringing people around, and I think Zico Lewis helps him immensely, doesn't he? Because he just, anything that bounces off him, he just picks up, and he's very creative in and around that 18-yard box. So, as I said, the system works. Sometimes, you know, systems work better for individual players than others.
Svanterson trying to hold it up. He does just that for Lewis. Lewis picking up a bit of wind behind his sails. Nothing comes to fruition of that one.
And again, Zico Lewis, he'll probably think now he just dribbled on and had a shot. He's got a great left foot when he wants to use it, but you can see how adventurous he is. Once he got to that point, he's looking for those little balls, and he's very unselfish. You know, I watched him play as a young player, and I always said to him, I would wish him to be a little bit more selfish in and around the box. You never want to take away creativity from a player, but, you know, I think, as I said, with such a great left foot he's got, he should take a few, certainly that one he should have took a gamble.
Here comes Charlotte at the other end of the park. Aduro into Hill. Switches for Johnson. Martinez takes a touch inside. Runs into a bit of traffic. And out of the back by Higashi. Kevon George is there.
And again, great playing again by Archer, wasn't it? He read it well, used his body, used his frame, and just knocked it out so that the ball could be cleared. And I think the Independents, up until the 18-yard box, they've been fantastic. It's that final third, they haven't really created those chances that are going to open up the battery.
Alex Martinez almost did enough there.
And I'm sure Jim McGuinness is really thinking to himself now, you know, as I said, I think he'll be very pleased with his play right up until the 18-yard box. And they've only had that one chance, you know, we saw at half-time in the highlights where Aduro got in and Kosminski made the save. Other than that, they've really not done too, you know, they haven't really thrown balls in the box. They haven't really got players running in behind. They haven't had shots from outside the box. So he's going to have to be thinking about how he can change it just to see if they can get that one opportunity that will really give them something in this game.
There's movement from both benches down below us. Substitutes warming up for either side. Here's Woodbine. Koopman comes across to stop him in his tracks. It's a good ball into the box by Woodbine, but the referee's going to pull him back a few yards. And that's just another example of that. Yeah,
you can see he's a great character, and he Woodbine, and you know, the ball went out. He picked it up off the nearest ball boy, trying to gain 10 yards, and again, he's a very, very good professional player. He knows the game.
Woodbine, another one with a wealth of MLS experience with New England Revolution. Also played overseas in Finland. Ranks 12th all-time in battery appearances with over 110. Lewis does well to regain the possession. Here's Piggott. Mario Piggott just brought down outside of the box. This is going to bring up a free kick for the Charleston Battery. And
I think this will be Zico Lewis with his left foot on this side. But again, very good play by Piggott when he really worked hard to bring the ball down. He just shielded it there. And that's a really clumsy free kick there. That is, I think it was Mond who just, like, again, got the wrong side, stretched out his leg and created it. And now this is a very dangerous position because Zico Lewis has got a great delivery. And this is one he can whip in and see if anyone can get the head on the end of it.
Woodbine is there with him. Jim McGuinness is ready to make his first substitution of the match down below. Will the referee allow that to happen before this set piece? Yes, he will. And it looks like it's going to be Afrim Tarku to make his way in. The Albanian makes his 4th start for Charlotte, and out comes Alex Martinez, who you've got to say has put in a pretty good shift today. Yeah, no, he's had a good game, and I'm sure he'll be disappointed, but as I said, I think it's come to that point now where they've huffed and puffed, and now the coach really does need to try something new and, you know, just put a little fresh lick on it. I'm very surprised they've made this substitution on this set play because, again, I've seen it happen in the past where they come in, you don't really know who you're marking, you don't really know your role, someone gets free, and I'm always dubious to do that on a set piece, but let's see what happens. Here comes the delivery from Lewis, away by Enzo, first man. And that was a disappointing one of you by Lewis. It wasn't a good free kick by his standards. As I said, it dropped in, didn't really miss out the first defender. And Charlotte Independents get off with one there. Tarku joins Charlotte Independents from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, another rival of the Battery. And prior to being with the Rowdies, spent his career playing in Albania. And it looks like, just from where he's gone, it looks like it's a straight swap, doesn't it? So they're not really changing their shape, they're just looking to try it. You know, Tarku may have a bit more pace, he might be a little bit more determined to get in behind the fullbacks on a 1v1 situation, so we'll see how that progresses. Well, prior to this match, it's normally Enzo Martinez that's over the dead ball. Today, it's all been Mark Hill. Let's see if he can create an opportunity with this one. Hill with the delivery away by Woodbine.
Both teams are struggling to miss that front man out, aren't they? You know, the deliveries, they're coming in with pace, but they're not getting over that first defender. And right now it's quite comfortable for these defendings.
Joel Johnson brings it down for Hill, who looks to recycle, denied by Bolt at the edge of the box.
One thing you have to be very impressed with the Battery, you know, whatever shape they play, they're so disciplined in how they get back into their shape. I'm sure it's not, you know, I'm sure it's something they work very, very, very hard on. And, you know, it pays off all the time.
Woodbine, the pressure is there from Arman. Woodbine absolutely flattened, almost went the other way on the counter-attack, but the referee will bring it back. And this will be a throw-in for O'Brien Woodbine. Let's have another look at this one, Derek.
Yeah, as I said, he's looking for a foul there, and I think it was a little late one, wasn't it? You know, but I think the referee's eyes were following the ball. Again, it's one of them ones that could hurt, but you know, as I said, he saw it coming, he played it.
A big ball down for Swanson. Gutman is there. Brought down by Piggott, but passed to the wrong colour.
Gutman there's just jumped into that one. I think he hurt himself before. You can see he's just looking at his leg there, and I think he just jumped up there, and I think that was one that the linesman bought.
Here's Johnson picking up some speed. Nice sliding challenge from Candela.
Again, intelligent play by Zico Lewis again when he just won the ball, turns it in, gets his throw in, kicks it off the opponent. It's good play.
Mond. Back to Miller. Brandon Miller, the Charlotte native, 29-year-old. Started every single match so far this season. Here's Hill. Gutman joins in the attack, but is lost in the middle of the park. Candela. Back for Van Schaik. Piggott through to Lewis. Woodbine joins in down this near side. Takes a deflection of Gutman, but still in. Zico Lewis now. Takes a touch, gets it across. Nobody home.
Fantastic skill there, wasn't it? You know, he had nowhere to go, and he just used his space and his little low centre of gravity and just whipped that in there. Bolt. And no one really gambled on it.
Bolt with the high ball in. Nothing to come of that one. Brandon Miller out of the back. Well, it looks like down below as Mike Anhauser's going to make his first substitution of the match. It's like Arthur Bosua is putting on his jersey below, one of the new signees for Mike Anhauser this season. The striker, let's see who he comes in for.
Be interesting to see, as I said, maybe Higashi. You know, I think that might be one. He can just try to change his shape a little bit just to, you know, Bosua just really does come in and you know, he's a big, strong presence, and it, you know, he might just do a straight swap with Swanson. We'll have to wait and see what he's thinking. And the substitution can take place now.
Martinez putting some pressure on Leland Archer at the back. Here comes the substitution. It looks like it's going to be a double substitution, one for either side. Arthur Bosua, the striker from Columbia University. Ivy League two-time Offensive Player of the Year. In his first season with the Battery, played 16 minutes so far for Mike Anhauser. He's going to replace the man up top, Ian Swanson, this afternoon. The goal scorer makes his way off. Mike Anhauser up off his bench, ready to greet him.
Yeah, he's had a great game, and you know, they're always judged on goals, but his performance has been excellent. I think he's got a well-deserved rest there. So it's really a straight swap there for Bosua.
Mansally is also jerseyed up down below us, ready to make his way in for Jim McGuinness's side at the next stoppage. Joel Johnson for Aduro, returns to sender. Hill into Enzo. And too many touches almost, but does enough to get it across. Arman and Gutman there. Lays it back, Van Schaik with the press.
It's great defending there by Van Schaik, he didn't dive in.
Taku The substitute for Armand. Right across the box, Martinez is there. Leland Archer, the danger not over, wide of the target by Mark Hill.
Yeah, Mark Hill, that's a great chance for Hill, isn't it? Really there, he's got to do better from there. It fell to him. I think there was some pressure put on. We'll have to see on the replay who that was, but you know, that's got to be considered a really good chance there. Here we go now. Who was it? Archer, wasn't it? Archer just threw himself at it again, and you know, just he's growing in this game. He's having a fantastic game, and as I said, he definitely did enough there to put that off.
There's the substitution for old Jim McGuinness. Out comes Jake Armand, and in comes Mansali. The 30-year-old Gambian, signed in February. Another one with MLS experience, spent the last 2 seasons in Finland. Started 2 of the 2 games he's appeared in so far before coming in as a substitute in this 3rd match.
I think again it's a straight swap, so no change to formation, just change of personnel. So it's both wide players now changed for the visitors. Let's see how that impacts the game.
Higashi. Sewer is there right under the referee's nose. That is going to be a free kick for the home side. Candela making his way up. Lewis wants it as well. And that's always a good sign when you've got 2 good set piece takers fighting for the ball. Yeah,
it's great driving forward there. You can see he's tugging at his shirt. You know, brilliant play by Higashi. And now, you know, for, again, people watching here, it's always great to have a left footer and a right footer over the ball. And don't discount here Woodbine here, because he's got a very good strike as well. So you've got a situation now where you've got 2 good players who can strike the ball, and what it does now is the goalkeeper's really got to try and work out to sort out his wall, and it could come from either side. And because it's so central now, as I said, this really could be, it could be either one of them who's going to hit this. I fancy Lewis.
I'm with you there, Derek. The Independents not taking any chances. Every man back behind the ball to help Brandon Miller out. And it's going to be Lewis. He just takes the strike. And Brandon Miller manages to get just a hair on it to put it wide.
Yeah, the way the wall was set up, it was always going to be Lewis, I think, there. And as I said, he's done all he can do is hit the target. He hit it with good pace. And you say that's a good save. The goalkeeper's at full stretch. Here we go, look. He's right across his goal. Yeah, he gets a good hand to it. But a great strike.
Fantastic save by Brandon Miller. Lewis is over the dead ball again, down in the corner. This time he's got Piggott with him. Mueller and Archer make their way into the box. Here comes the delivery, this time to the back post. Leland Archer just slipped, lost his footing there. And always a bit of a danger when your centre-backs are up. A long ball comes through for Duro. Luckily, Woodbine's there to cover for the home side.
Yeah, no, that's always a danger when you put everyone up for a corner and it's not the greatest delivery. Oh.
So too much on George, says the referee. Brings Mike Anhauser up off his bench there.
Yeah, I think that he saw what we all saw. I think he actually won the ball. You know, as I said, I think but the referee wasn't the greatest side of it there. And I'm sure from his view it looked like a free kick.
It's Kevon George down there below us. So he is up and okay. Let's see if we can have another look at this.
Yeah. Again, I'm not so sure that's a free kick. I think it's his standing leg there, and you know, both players are entitled to go for the ball there. But I said the referee was the wrong side, and I'm sure it looked like a free kick from where he was.
Candela picks up the second ball into Bosua. The referee giving it in favour of the home side.
That's McGuinness's turn to get up off the bench, and again I think that's right there. I actually think that was, you know, we had a great view of it from our position up here in the booth, and that looked like that was an Independence ball.
Woodbine, fantastic ball into the middle of the park. Can the Battery switch the flanks? Van Schaik out to Bolt.
That's not a great pass by Van Schaik, is it? That just needed to be put down along the floor. That was a hard one to deal with. And I think he was trying to get it out there too quickly. It was the right pass for sure, but just not the wrong technique.
Johnson to find into the attack.
So far, it's been a really enjoyable game, but there hasn't been loads and loads of goal mouth incident. But it's actually been a very good game to watch. Two good teams passing the ball well. You know, there's been a little bit of commitment from both teams, a few little late tackles. You know, it's been a very, very entertaining game.
Aduro and Martinez on the run. Bolt does enough to get to safety. Taku for Johnson. Johnson assesses his options. Well read by Higashi.
The ball's already out, so.
Taku to take it again for Johnson this time. Johnson will track across the park. Joel Johnson still on the run. Candela.
That was Archer again there, sticking it up. He's had a fantastic game. Archer, that's a great tackle.
Brilliant sliding challenge from Aaron Mond to stop Bosua in his tracks.
I think Mond's got injured there. Maybe he's overstretched it. Maybe he's landed a bit. Oh, we'll have a look now. Yeah, it looks like he's overstretched there. Obviously, there was definitely nothing in it with the challenge. And obviously, it could even be his shoulder.
See Candela waving on the independent staff to take a look at Aaron Mond. Enzo Martinez over him as well. I'd say Aaron Mond's had a good game so far this afternoon as well, Derek.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, and Martinez, I think he's got a tracking system with the referee. Every time the referee's there, Martinez is there. So it's been actually quite entertaining watching him today. Every time the referee's gone there, he's been in there. I know he's the captain and he's allowed to talk, but he's been tracking him. Be interested to see if we saw the stats on that. But now we're getting into that really interesting phase of the game, and there 20 minutes to go, and you know the Battery, do they keep pushing for that second goal, which I think the way the game's gone would probably be enough. You know, or do they get to a certain point in the game where they think, you know what, let's defend what we got. Let's have one more look at Mond's challenge. I don't know if he's hurt his shoulder or.
It was an absolute must though. Arthur Bosua on his way from a fantastic ball through. Let's see if this brings on a substitution for Jim McGuinness's side. Looks like the trainer is waving for that substitution. Tico is down below, one of the new signees for the side. Like you mentioned, Derek, that looks like a sore one with his shoulder.
Yeah, as I said, he looks like he's either awkwardly landed or. It's funny, people don't realise how many shoulder injuries happen. So let's have one more look at it here. Look, he's gone in. Yeah, I think it's just where he landed with his arm. His arm might have got trapped underneath him and he took the full weight of his body on his shoulder. But trainer seems to think he's okay. He's not walking round with the player.
Be very surprised.
I think he's going to give it a go. It looks like he's going to give it a go. So the referee will. Yeah.
The trainer down below is just pointing to his shoulder, but on he comes. Let's see if it causes him any more problems for the remainder of this afternoon's match.
Well, his arm's definitely straight down right now, so he doesn't look very comfortable at all. Piggott does well there to get a throw in again, so another good situation for the Battery. We've got a 3v2 situation, but as I said here, Woodbine will come in and he'll take over.
Let's see what Woodbine can do with this. 20 minutes left to play here in Charleston. Ian Svanterson, the difference so far. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for this afternoon's match. A good ball into Lewis. What a strike! Zico Lewis. He has been on fire lately and he makes it too.
That is a fantastic goal. But what's fantastic about it, again, this is another part of the long throw. Everyone's dropped off, expect the long one. Zico Lewis just drops in. It's a great little roll, and that was a goal as soon as it left his foot. Unbelievable strike. And as I said, it shows what he's all about. He's got quality, this lad, and he shows it.
Zico Lewis with his second goal for the black and yellow. Well, we highlighted him in the pre-game. Derek had a fantastic spell with the Bermudan international team on their run to get to the Gold Cup. 1 goal and 1 assist for them, and Woodbine just plants one straight to his foot and he delivers it home.
Now listen, in people's career, you have really good moments in your career, and he's having one of those moments, isn't he? And it's extending, you know, and the Battery are getting the experience and the extension of what he's been doing for his country, and I'm sure Bermuda will get the reward of him playing regularly for the Battery. So fantastic piece of skill, great goal, and fully deserved. But his performance is good. He's found those little pockets. Even for the first goal, he found that little piece of space and set it up. So now he's in a rich vein of form as well. And it's great, you know, the Battery's got a couple of players that are scoring goals. Here it is, let's have one more look at it. I think we're going to look here, look at the way he just rolls, lets the ball run across him and curled it into the corner.
Down below us, Aaron Mond has come off his injury. Looks like it'd just be too much for him to carry on. And in comes Stephen Tico, the new signee, the French native who started every game prior to this one. And he will finish it out for the Independents. Another one that has a lot of experience playing overseas in several different countries: Scotland, Portugal, Romania, Greece and Malaysia. Now finds his home with the Independents. Here's Basua into the middle of the park. Van Schaik.
That's good football there again by the Battery, isn't it? Just tight situation, they've kept it going. A bit of a loose play there by Lewis. He won't be happy with that.
Takes a deflection quickly into the feet of Martinez. Candela battling with him. Long ball. Trying to lead his team into the attack. Well, for Charlotte Independents, the Battery are their most played opponent. This is their 14th matchup. The Battery lead the series with 7 wins, 4 draws, and just 2 losses so far to date. Last season played each other 3 times on the year. This year they'll only play each other twice. But like both coaches have mentioned, it's always a fantastic matchup when these 2 teams meet wherever they are.
Oh, that's great. There's a better ball by Van Schaik when his previous ball was very difficult to go, but that was a great ball.
Here's Basua in the box. Can he create anything of it? Joel Johnson back to help out defend.
Basua has done well, hasn't he? You know, he's a little bit more mobile than Swanson. He's not such a big frame, but he's a little bit more mobile and he puts himself about. But he does a similar type of role. He tries to get in front of defenders and screen the ball, and his work rate's very, very good as well.
Maduro again deep in the midfield, trying to help generate the attack. Too much pressure on Mansali from Woodbine.
Yeah. His eyes were on the ball there, and he's just, you know, he got caught watching the ball rather than the man.
Martinez been all over the pitch tonight. Basua in to defend. Well read by Candela, all the way back to Kuzminski, who you've got to say hasn't had too much to do in this second half.
No, he's had the one save in the first half. You know, he had to deal with some, you know, tricky passes, but he's had a quiet game by, you know, and he'll be happy with that, I'm sure.
Gutman, good ball in, looking for a Duro. Joel Johnson there with the recycle.
And again, Archer's done brilliant there. That was him again.
An orthodox clearance from Van Schaik. Still in bounds on the far side. Taku. Johnson into the box. Archer heads away. Van Schaik. Out wide for Piggott. Mario Piggott takes his space. Pressure is on from Mansali, who comes out on top. Here's Aduro. He's got Martinez with him. May have gone to him ahead too early. Back into the box. Here's Lewis.
Good pass again, but now that previous play, Zika Lewis, he shows he's good and he's not so good size there. He just got, you know, he tried to draw the foul, he didn't get it. He lies on the floor and moans, and sometimes you just got to like learn a little bit from that he just can't, you know, he can't just do that. He's got to be a little bit more reliable, certainly in the midfield areas. Final third, yeah, try anything you want. In the midfield, you need to be that little bit more reliable for your team.
Fans, who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com. Martinez, it's a good ball through for Aduro. Archer's there. The danger isn't over. Taku looking to take a strike. Jay Bolt stands in his way. Here's Joel Johnson. Tries to take a touch into the box. He comes out on top. To the back post he goes. And safety first from O'Brien Woodbine at the back.
And he shows all his experience there, doesn't he? He gets in, he saw the player was behind him, he just used his body to screen the ball off and just flicked it away for a corner. Great defending there. Here we'll see it again, look. He realised he couldn't make another challenge. Bolt, look, O'Brien just uses his body and just punch it away, saving a clear goal.
Mansali was knocking at the door. Here's Mark Hill with a set-piece corner. Off the post, the danger isn't over. Off the line, it's chaos in the box and just put wide of the target.
And two great efforts there. I think one hit the post, and we'll see who that was there, the second one, and I think it fell at the back post there as well by, was it Gutman in the end? Here is his Gutman there, and he's just, who's that? Higashi on the line as well, so yeah. So no, fantastic play there by the battery, and sometimes, you know, when that happens, you think maybe it's your day.
Kevon George getting well into the mix in the attack. He has 1 goal on the season already. Ahead in against Atlanta United too, just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, he's there with the follow-up. This time nothing to come of it. There he is, Kevon George on the ball. You've got to say there, Derek, the battery really did get away with one.
Yeah, no, I think if you're Jim McGuinness now, you're starting to think, you know, is it your day? You know, as I said, it was 2 good chances. I think it was George, you were correct with the header, and then it fell to Gutman at the other side, and he done everything. He hit the target, wasn't it? But it was great defending by, you know, Higashi, who stood on the line and cleared it and saved what would have been a certain goal, and then that could have changed the last 12, 15 minutes of the game.
Here's Zico Lewis. One-on-one with Gutman. Battery opt to keep the possession. Loose ball to the other end of the park, but Bolt takes it well into the box away at the first man.
And that was so good a ball, it was nearly a bad ball, wasn't it? That's them type of balls.
Here we're going to see another substitution from Mike Anhauser in just a second. Nico Rittmeyer, the Savannah native, College of Charleston product, putting on his jersey down below. It looks like Mike Anhauser wants to finish out this run of play before he goes on. Van Schaik, Bolt just sitting down.
I think that was for the quick change there, as I said. Yeah, it was. Bolt's down. I think now they've pulled that substitution there now, and they're going to bring in Angelo Kelly as opposed to. Yeah, so we'll be interested to see what happens there. There was something happened there, didn't it? We saw that they were just about to make the substitution. Bolt's obviously struggling now with some sort of calf issue, and that may now just change. As I said, it looked like it was Nico Rittmeyer coming in. Now they've just changed that. They've pulled the card from the ref, and now they're changing it again.
Well, it looks like it's actually going to be Angelo Kelly to make his way in. Jay Bolt is going to be the one to come off.
And I think what they'll do is they'll put Van Schaik at left back, and I think they'll bring Kelly into midfield. That's what it looks like they'll do. And I'm sure, yeah, Gerard Van Schaik's going to get the ball. So Kelly's coming in as a midfield player, play alongside Candela. And Gerard Van Schaik shows his flexibility by moving that to left back.
Angelo Kelly, not a bad substitution to really shore up the midfield in the final 10 minutes of this match. In his second season with the battery, has played in all 3 matches so far, but hasn't started any coming in as a substitute.
And Higashi there's now got to refocus. He thought he was coming out of the game. He's now got to switch back on and get his head in the game. And it's amazing how things like that sometimes come back.
Woodbine with the delivery. Bosu is there. Couldn't get the redirection on it.
Yeah, it was good defending there, I think, wasn't it? It was great defending. I think it was Roberts there. It was used his experience again to get in front of him and just not let him get a clear header on the ball. So a little bit of reorganising for the last 10, 15 minutes, or 10 minutes as we say now, for the battery. And as I said, Van Schaik's now got to refocus and make sure he plays as an out-and-out left back, because that has been a problem for the battery, then getting in down behind.
Enzo Martinez looking to break away. Candela to the rescue on the far side. And like we mentioned earlier on in the match, The Independents been notorious for scoring later on in the matches this season so far. Scored 3 against Atlanta United, 2 in the last 15 minutes.
I'm sure after last week's result, the Battery, that will be the last thing they want to do is concede a goal at this stage. You know, they dropped 2 points last week. I'm sure that's how that will feel, because they were totally in control of the game, playing very, very well. And as I said, they won't want that to happen again.
Woodbine just creeping up below. Referee says that's enough yards. Piggott, good footwork. Drops a ball into the attack. Kataro can't pick it out the sky. Nicely won. Here's Joel Johnson. Into the feet of Martinez. Out wide to Taku. Martinez trying to force his way into the box.
There's that little space again in behind the fullbacks where people get some success, and Martinez has won himself a corner there. And you know, after the last set piece they had, it caused all sorts of problems. So let's see if the Battery can defend this one much better this time.
Here's the centre backs making their way into the box, both over 6 foot. Roberts 6'4". Here comes the delivery. It's a good one. Roberts gets the head on it. Denied by Van Schaik. Here's Kelly. Really just showing his fresh legs there. Does enough to not let it out for a throw. Mansali switches the flanks. Good teamwork from the black and yellow.
And again, they've done great taking the sting out of play there. They're just passing their way out of trouble, keeping possession. And at this stage of the game, every sort of stride that the Independence players takes an extra stride that just takes a little bit, empties the tank a little bit further. Overplayed a little bit there though.
Here's Bosua.
Good hold up play by the big lad.
Woodbine trying to drop one into the path of Romario Piggott. Good defending from Gutman. Mansali wins in the middle. Johnson. Up to the Albanian. It's a nice chip ball. Can't find the feet of Aduro. England Archer had a fantastic game so far this afternoon. Hill. For Johnson again, into the box, the strike is there, no worries for the Battery.
Again, it was Leyland Archer getting a clap from his captain again. You know, when they have found them little spaces, them little pockets in the box, Archer again throws himself at them and forces the, you know, whoever it was there to, who was it who took the shot? But it was a great block and put players under pressure, great defending.
It's a substitute with the strike, Taku.
It was Taku, okay, so yeah, another great piece of defending.
Minsky opts for the long ball out the back. Yvonne George is there, but that'll be a free kick. Hugh Roberts down in the middle. Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportsamerica.com. Here's Aduro, falls almost for Martinez. Mueller gets a touch on it. Higashi out the back. Johnson with the pressure. And that'll be a free kick for the Battery that I'm sure they're in no rush to take, Derek.
No, they actually look quite comfortable right now, don't they? They're not under apart from that little flurry we saw about 10 minutes ago. They've actually done very, very well. They've taken the sting out of the game very well. Boshu has done really well up front. He's just putting pressure on. He's going to get another throw in here now. Oh, it went the other way. But he's done well. And as I said, I think it's got to that stage now where, you know, the Independents now have really got to throw everything out. The kitchen sink's got to get thrown forward. If they need a goal, they need a goal quickly just to make the last couple of minutes an exciting and a bit of a nervy one for the Battery. But here's Archer again, who's had a great game. He hasn't just defended well, he's played out from the back. He should be very pleased with his performance today.
Just under 4 minutes left to play here at MUSC Health Stadium. Nice work from Angelo Kelly. Candela finds Van Schaik on the far side. Lewis battling with Johnson. Here's Zico Lewis. He's got Higashi with him. Basua is in the box. He'll just hold it down near the corner flag. Taro Higashi to collect.
Good intelligent play there by Lewis again, wasn't it? Just trying to take this thing out of the game.
Here's Higashi. Back for Lewis. The Battery enjoying a nice spell of possession. Almost right to the feet of Angelo Kelly.
Very intelligent little pass there. Referee's given a free kick there. Great little pass in there to Kelly. Great run from him. He's got fresh legs and he's come in. He's prepared to run forward. And Candela's had a great game today as well, hasn't he? He's been busy. He's been round the park. His passing's been good. He's linked the game up as well. It's been very, very, very good. There's a lot of good performances today from a lot of the Battery players.
Talking of good performance, it's about that time we awarded the Heineken Man of the Match for this afternoon's game. Derek Broadley, who's it going to be today?
I think it's always easy to get carried away with goal scorers and stuff, but I think today, you know, one of the top performances for me has been Leyland Archer. I thought he done very, very well in the first half. I think he's done really well in the second half. So today I'm going to give Leyland Archer the man of the match, the Heineken Man of the match.
There we have it, Heineken Man of the Match for this afternoon's game, Leyland Archer. Completely agree with you. He's had a big job on his hands this afternoon, keeping Dominic Aduro at bay, especially with the firepower of the Martinez brothers joining in the attack. Here's Taku. Back to George. Martinez hasn't stopped running all afternoon. Gutman. Can he find space into the box? Yes, he can. Mansali is there. Pressure in numbers from the Battery. Back to Gutman. Across the box. Kuzminski might have just got a touch on that and done enough for Higashi to try and bring the Battery to safety. The danger isn't over. Taku into Aduro. To the top of the box. Martinez trying to take the strike. And he'll bounce out wide. Gutman's there. The pressure from Pigott. Tries the back heel, looking for Mansali, which doesn't work out for him this time. And if you're Mike Anhauser now, you just want to get it out of your own half to finish the final 30 seconds of regulation.
I think there'll be about 2 to 3 minutes of extra time or overtime or whatever words they use now, because I think there's been 6 substitutions. So, you know, expect to see at least 3 minutes added on of added time. And Candela, as I said, he was definitely another contender for the man of the match. He's had a great game. He's lots of energy. He's done very, very well.
Here's Martinez looking to cut across. Safety in numbers from the Battery. 4 minutes of added on time here at MUSC Hull Stadium. And I'm sure for some of these players, 4 minutes is going to feel like 10.
Yeah, it will do. As I said, I think their Battery now, they've just got to play the game out, haven't they? They've got to pass the ball around. As I said, as well as I think the Independents have played, they haven't really created too many chances. I think one in each half. There was a double attempt in the second half, but really they haven't done enough in the final third for me. I think that's been the difference, the little bit of quality that Zico Lewis got and Swanson in the first half. And as I said, that's the difference.
Here's Zico Lewis now, as he opts for the corner flag a bit early to do that. Fan shake to Candela. Candela with the strike this time, patted away and collected by Miller.
And you can see he's a player with confidence there, isn't he? You know, he's got it there. He's got a little bit of space and he's took a shot. Normally he'd be rolling that ball wide. Here he is again.
The Colombian pumps a ball forward, causing Miller to come up off his line. Almost ran out of ground in his box. Roberts. Wide for the Spaniard, Johnson. Taku on the far side. Duro's there, but it's Taylor Mueller that comes out on top.
And I said there that it was like the battery had a bit more flair in the final third. I think it's also a combination that the battery have been absolutely solid at the back. I mean, I've given Archer the man of the match, but Taylor Mueller's done well. Brian Woodbine's done well. Jay Bolt when he was on, and even Gerard when he's gone in there. Van Schaik, he's done great. So, as I said, I think you have to give credit to the defenders today, and those clean sheets are as valuable to them as goals are to strikers.
I'm sure all the youngsters in the crowd with this afternoon kickoff are looking forward to the final whistle. Meet the team night here at MUSC Health Stadium, just underneath the Jumbotron there. You can see all the chairs lined up, ready for autographs. Here's Lewis.
The battalion flags are waving over there in the corner, aren't they? Look, they'll be very pleased with this performance.
Almost well read by Enzo. Mueller forced to the rescue. Woodbine just lets that one run out of play. No rush to get them back underway. Brian Woodbine, the Jamaican veteran, assessing his options. Just about 3 minutes of the 4 minutes added on time played.
And you'll say if you might, Anhaz has been a great performance. I mean, he'll want to keep this clean sheet. You know, as I said, it's been a solid performance from back to front. You know, they've created chances. They've done very, very well defensively. They've pressed when they needed to. So I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased with this overall performance. And as I said, you know, there's goals from certain players. You know, Zico Lewis is in good form. Swanson's in good form. You know, all the midfield players who have played today have all put a shift in. So, you know, there's not one player you'd say that's played below par. So a fantastic all-round performance.
And talking to Mike Hanhauser earlier this week, he said that's one of the best things about the team at the minute is so many different players contributing in the attack and getting on the score sheet. Woodbine just pushed the ground. A bit of pushing and shoving in this late going. Maybe a bit of frustration from the independents.
That's what it is. As I said, that's definitely, it's just frustration, isn't it? Hill's got to be careful because he's on a yellow card. He certainly doesn't want to be getting involved in anything and getting a stupid red card at this stage of the game. So
head coach Mike Hanhauser remains undefeated so far this season. This could very well be the last kick of the game. And there it is, the final score from MUSC Health Stadium. Charleston Battery 2, Charlotte Independence 0. Derek Broadley, your final thoughts?
No, I think it's a very well-deserved win. I mean, it wasn't the greatest start by the Battery. As I said, Independence definitely come out. They were the better team, but I think we've said it many times, goals change games. And, you know, once the Battery got their noses in front, they managed possession, they managed the game. They got their second goal, went up, and it was only then where there was a double chance, if you like, for the Independents to come back into the game. And then at the end, I think, as I said, the Battery just played the game out, looked very comfortable, and a good, solid, all-round performance. You can see, look at the camaraderie with the players there. Zico Lewis, great goal to finish it off and cap off what was been an absolutely fantastic day for the home team and the home fans.
Well, 2 goals for the Charleston Battery, but several chances for either side. Let's take a look at this afternoon's highlights. And we'll start right here with Dominic Aduro's chance. Yeah,
and it's a great chance by Aduro, but it's also a great save by Kosminski. Again, this goal here, I think it's all about O'Brien Woodbine's run and a great finish by Swanson. And then this one here, again, you know, it's almost a carbon copy. He gets to the front post, nearly gets one in, rediverts it. Here's the free kick by Lewis, which really was a good strike. And it showed you he had his shooting boots with him. And then obviously we'll see the goal here. It's a great little roll on the edge of the box, and that's a goal as soon as it leaves his foot, right in the top corner. A little bit of quality. We'll see this again. Look, just bends it in. That's a great goal there and caps off a good performance for him. But, you know, what the highlights don't really show is how well the Battery did defensively. You know, and as I said, Archer, Mueller, but Archer really, as I said, was the pick of the bunch, and he done some great saves. This was the last little double chance that they had where Higashi just cleared it off the line. But other than that, there wasn't too much in the final third. And as I said, a thoroughly deserved win for the Battery.
Well, the quest for the Independents' first win of the season continues. For Mike Hanhauser's side, they remain undefeated as they head on the road to take on Bethlehem Steel. Next weekend, we'll return back to Charleston to take on Nashville SC the following Saturday. But from here in Charleston, South Carolina this afternoon, that is all we've got time for. 2-0 the final score. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Derek Broadley, the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.